All right, welcome to Content-Aware Scaling. This hopefully won't take too long. Content-Aware Scale is a really interesting tool. It's a transform tool that's used in Photoshop. I apologize if you can hear the fan in the background. It is really warm in my office today, so just deal with it. So, Content-Aware Scale. First thing I'm going to do is make a copy of this image because I'm going to scale it. So, let's suppose, right, you worked for a place, they wanted to use this photograph, but they want to keep all the information, but they want to make it either shorter, okay, or narrower. So if I hit Command T, and remember, if you want to apply a transformation and change the aspect ratio, meaning up here 100% height and width, you have to hold down Shift. So if I do that, and let's say I needed to put this into a column, but we want to keep everybody in here and we don't want to crop, right? If I pull to the right, you'll notice what happens is that you get a distortion, right? Everything gets narrower and you get squeezed. You'll see this a lot online. People will try and squeeze stuff in. Okay, hit Command Z and step back. Again, if I enter transform and hold down Shift and pull from the top, okay, I'm going to squash everyone. Okay, so Photoshop has this neat tool. It's called Content Aware Scale, and what it does is that it will try and identify people in particular and keep them from being skewed or messed up when you scale things. So it is underneath Edit, Content Aware Scale, and if you'll notice, the keyboard shortcut is Command or Control Alt Shift C. Okay. So I'm going to pull in from the right and hold Shift, because again, I need to do that in order to change my aspect ratio. And you notice as I do this, right, and I let go, you can see the line down here, right, how it's getting distorted. But you notice the people, Photoshop is doing its absolute best to keep them from getting squished. The more you push, right, the less ability it has to do that. So I'm going to do the same from the top. And you notice if I pull down from the top, okay, Photoshop identifies the sky as having a large area of color and value, and so it's going to scale that and not touch the rest of the image. Okay, so it's kind of a cool tool that way. Now here's the thing too. Okay, up at the top, in particular, if you are doing your Content Aware Scale, they have a little man. If you click on that person, okay, Photoshop will try and protect any skin tones. Okay, so I'm going to pull to the right again. And you'll notice it's funny because what happens is Photoshop is trying to protect the skin tones and to keep them from squishing. But you'll notice, like again, all of the shirts and all the things that are not skin tones are getting really distorted. Okay. So I'm going to apply that, and then I'm going to step back. It's going to take it a minute. Okay, Photoshop also has the ability, if you wanted to protect a specific area. Okay, so you remember first when I had this line here, when I did the Content Aware Scale, right, how it got all jagged and crooked. What I can do is, and it gets a little bit tricky, we're going to play around with our channels. Okay, if you click on channels on your palette, this is an RGB, okay, red, green, and blue. If you want to know all the details about it, I can certainly give them to you. I don't think they're particularly useful unless you're really getting into some theoretical stuff. Essentially, you have 8 bits per channel, 256 colors, and over 16 million total colors. Okay. But one of the things you can do as well with channels is save selections, and I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to select this line down here. I'm going to use my polygonal lasso tool because that's an easy way to do it. And it was distorting it more right here. So I'm just going to select this area right in here. Okay. In order to save my selection, I'm going to go into my channels. I'm going to make a new channel. Okay. I need to make sure my background color is white, and I'm going to hit delete. Okay. So if your background color is black and you hit delete, it's going to fill it with black and won't do anything for you. So remember, D and X will reset your foreground background color here. make sure it's set to white, hit delete or backspace. And I'm going to deselect. Now I'm going to come back out. I need to click back on my layer to reactivate it. I am going to go into Edit, Content Aware Scale. Okay. And we're up here where it says Protect. It has a drop down. I have now saved a selection in Alpha 1. Okay? And if you look on your channel, Alpha 1 right here, we're saving that selection. You can rename this too, by the way. That's just what it does. So you'll notice now, again, when I pull to the right, okay, you see how Photoshop will save this line? Okay? And if I really want to, I could do this whole line, select it, and protect it from being skewed as I pull in. Now, oops, let me turn off my skin tones there. That's better. Okay? So you'll notice I'm going to break this by pulling it way over. Do you see how the line gets completely nuts here and here? Okay? So for this file, what I want to see, okay, is I want to see you scale it down, okay, but also pull into the right, and I want to see this line right here. And you only have to go back to her foot. You don't have to do the whole line. You can if you want to. And I want to see this perfectly straight. So that means you're going to have to make a selection, go into your channel, okay, make a new channel, make sure your background color is white, hit delete, okay, and then when you scale, make sure you pick Protect Alpha 1. Then just hit Return. It's going to take it a second to transform. Here's what I'd ask if you read any good books lately, but think about good books that you've read lately. How about that? Just take a second. Hopefully it runs faster on your machine than mine. This is a pretty good machine here at the office, but for some reason with Photoshop it really struggles mightily at times. Okay? Then I want you to go to Layer, Flatten Image, go to File, Save As, go ahead and save it as a JPEG, okay? Wherever it is, okay? Now here's the interesting thing. Let me point this out really quick. You'll notice if you go to File, Save As, and you pick JPEG, it's going to tell you it has to be saved as a copy. And the reason why is because you have alpha channels, okay? Not a big deal. If you really wanted to, you could go in, you could delete the alpha channel, and now when you go to File, Save As, and you pick JPEG, it won't give you any warning. Okay? It doesn't matter. It's just, it's interesting that Photoshop is pointing out JPEG cannot support multiple channels beyond, like, what, so you get your RGB, it can't support extra channels. So anyway, and that's what you have to do for this one.